Hi everybody and welcome to Decorating Streetwear. I'm Courtney Kubitza with Stahls TV, and today I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about different streetwear styles and kind of the idea of the styles and the trends that come with streetwear. So here on the Stahls TV live classes, we talk a lot about spirit wear and school apparel and even corporate wear. But streetwear is kind of a style of its own. It's a different type of decorating technique that we're going to be showcasing here today and talking a little bit about the style. And so the streetwear movement has kind of came from things that we've seen on the streets, and it's constantly evolving, and so the artwork is changing, the styles of the garments is changing, and it's very fast paced and very fast moving. So currently what we're seeing a lot in streetwear when we're decorating these types of prints, which we're going to do a whole lot of today, we're going to do a lot of hands-on demonstrations and talk about the different styles. But what we're seeing a lot of is still that athleisure trend that we talk a lot about with all decorating technologies. We're looking at apparel that is flowy and lightweight and soft and very just comfortable and casual, and that's kind of what encompasses streetwear. So we're seeing a lot of tennis shoes and jeans paired with just slub tees, which are those soft cotton t-shirts. We're seeing a lot of athletic striping and different athletic and performance-looking attributes brought into fashion, into streetwear. And so the styles are really influenced a lot by, when we look at logos, and we'll look at a lot of them here, but they're influenced a lot by what we see in either hip-hop or skateboarding styles. So that kind of puts you in your frame of mind when it comes to streetwear. And so with streetwear and those types of trends, we're seeing a lot of bold prints, a lot of bold graphics, a lot of graphic images and logos and clip arts and things like that throughout the artwork. And we're also seeing a lot of 1980s nostalgia in the sayings and the quotes, and that's really one of the trends I'm going to touch on a lot in the artwork throughout this process. It's just unique trends and sayings and things that are trending, because as I said in the beginning, streetwear is always evolving, and so is the artwork and the trends that we see there. So we're going to look a lot at a variety of styles of blanks throughout the session, but as I mentioned, you're going to see a lot of these types of flowy, lightweight ladies garments, and we'll talk throughout the session about where these are sourced from and where you can purchase these types of styles. We're going to see a lot of tri-blends in men's apparel and women's apparel. So again, mixing together those cotton, polyester, and rayons. And if you want to learn more about decorating more with tri-blends, we just did a Stahls TV class, which is on our website, called Soft, Stretchy, and Synthetic. So you can see that at stahlstv.com. But again, we'll touch on a lot of the principles here. So I think it's best for us to go ahead and dive in on my first artwork design. So I'm going to grab that and head over to the heat press to apply this one artwork. So the first design I'm going to be applying, again, it touches a lot on that athletic, athleisure trend that we see in all markets, but specifically we're also seeing it in streetwear. So I'm going to be using a CAD cut material for this, because when it comes to decorating streetwear, another thing you're going to notice or point out that it really stemmed from apparel wearers and decorators wanting to be individuals and wanting to wear things that weren't off the rack. And so that's why heat printing really fits perfectly, because it allows you to create these types of custom designs and make them individual to the person who's wearing them. And from that, we've seen a lot of personal brands created. So taking one brand and putting that logo all over the garment. So those are some different things that we see throughout this trend. But this one specifically is going to dial in. Got quite a few pieces of artwork, so I'm going to set these aside so they don't stick to each other on my shirt. But the garment to start is very soft, very lightweight, very casual. It's from Alternative. So I purchased this, I believe, from S&S Activewear, but anybody who distributes for Alternative could get you this. The athletic striping, you're going to notice, again, it's pulling out that athletic athleisure trend that we're seeing. So it's a really nice, soft, comfortable blank to get started. I'm going to load that onto my Fusion to start the application, and I'm just going to pull off that seam that I'm worried about getting into the way and causing inaccurate pressure. So I'll start by preheating the garment, just like I do for all of the applications with my heat press. And then I'm going to line up my design, and so I'll switch my camera angle so you guys can see the top of my design. And so this is just an idea of kind of the artwork you're seeing in streetwear. So it's a very simple, personalized shirt for a specific group or a specific market. Again, making it individual to the people that are wearing it. I'm using CAD cut fashion film, What that's going to do is it's going to give me a very soft, lightweight, matte finish, which is really crucial when you're looking at finishes for the streetwear market. They want things that mimic screen printing and have very, very little wear on the item. And so if you're personalizing, CAD cut fashion film is going to work great. It applies at 320 degrees for 15 seconds in a medium pressure. Now while that's locked down, we'll talk a little bit about if you're creating multiples of these. So I've created this with CAD cut fashion film to get that personalized look. If I'm creating 50 or 100 of these and putting them maybe on multiple items, and I'm using that same piece of artwork, then I would want to probably order a screen printed transfer, and Transfer Express is goof proof to get this same finish and feel that's lightweight and soft and has a nice matte finish. So again, that's personalized the front of the shirt. I'm going to go ahead and personalize the back. Now this is a principle that for those of you that decorate for team uniforms are probably pretty familiar with, but we're actually going to be using a name and number combo, because just like with the athletic striping on the shirt, being able to select fonts and images that mirror athletics is very popular right now in streetwear. And it's when you're creating the numbers, they're not just a quick 6 or 8 inch number on the back. They're usually overstated and kind of have just more of a pop or an appeal to them. So I'm going to put the 90 on the back here, and if I want to, I can choose to add a name as well. So I'm going to do that, but we're looking at overstated, oversized, really outlandish names and numbers here for this style with the streetwear. And so this applies 320 degrees traditionally for 15 seconds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to also put an overlay over my fashion film. And so CAD cut fashion film, anytime you create multicolor logos, will allow you to do a 2-second tack and then peel off the carrier from your first layer. So your bottom layer is going to stay down, the carrier will release, and that's going to make lining up my gap outline, which is going to be really cool for this artwork, really simple and easy because I don't have to worry about the numbers below shrinking. The clear carrier fashion film also makes the alignment easy as well. So I'm going to try to get this as good as I can from the side here. Looking at my heat press. I'm going to cover it because I do have that vinyl exposed. Cover sheets are always good if you're worried about having something stuck to the heater or you just want to protect your garment. Now for my second application, I am going to use that full 15-second application that fashion film requires. So we have a couple of seconds there. So my name is now a durable print because it got the full application. I'll slowly peel back the fashion film metallic silver carrier. And then that creates a really great kind of two-tone effect with the gap outline. But you'll notice that doing that gap outline, instead of actually direct contouring my numbers on top of each other, allows me to still have a really nice soft fill because I'm not layering two types of heat transfer material, which traditionally gets a little bit thicker, directly on top of each other. And so that's what really makes this a really nice application. So I've got the front of the shirt personalized here, just like you would really for a baseball team. So still getting that athletic look, but on the flip side, it's personalized to maybe a streetwear brand or to a group or to that individual for that market. And then I went ahead and personalized the back with just an overstated name and number, still getting that individual personalization on the back and the top there. All of that was done with CAD cut fashion film, so still getting that light, soft weight fill. Now in keeping with soft and lightweight, a lot of the other things that we see in streetwear is just minimal artwork, which kind of, if you think about it, flips what I've just done where I had those outlandish, large, bold prints. The other side of streetwear is a lot of minimal lines and clip art and fine detail. And so there, again, I'm using fashion film, not only for that soft feel, but for the fine detail, which makes it a lot easier to weed if I'm creating individual designs on my vinyl cutter. Zoom in a little closer here to the fusion so you guys can see me as I load this garment on. And then once I have that there, again, I'll preheat. And this garment's also another one that's from S&S Activewear, but the brand is Next Level. Super, super soft. I wish you guys could actually feel this because it's incredibly soft on the garment. So we've got that there. I'll switch so you guys can see my artwork a little bit more close up. So that box is supposed to be there. I feel like that's important to note. I did not leave a weed border around my design. If you've cut CAD cut materials and you use that weed border, that's probably what it looks like I've left. But again, using a lot of these shapes and symbols and things like that with your work is really creative. Another thing that's popular when you think about the way people create their brands or their artwork in streetwear is the symbols they use to describe things. So if you see the fine detail here at the bottom, it has Roman numerals, which actually can be used to describe 2016, the year that this streetwear brand was created, or this logo was created, instead of me just putting 2016 like you may see on a school shirt or something from American Eagle or Abercrombie. So I really like that style. I think that's a unique thing to do with the streetwear, and I think it's cool that they've picked up on that. Again, fashion film applies 15 seconds, 320 degrees. Pull this over to the side. And then as I mentioned, as you guys are looking at that, a lot of the big things with streetwear, not only with designs and logos, is being able to take a brand and really elevate it with the heat press and the designs that you're choosing. So this would be an example, very soft, still, thin, lightweight, minimal artwork. So a perfect image for streetwear for this brand. But if I took that same brand's concept and wanted to put it on another item, or just take some of those same design principles and change them up a little bit, still keeping that very soft, minimal look, I can do that. And so here I have a long sleeve, just 100% cotton, Gildan long sleeve crew shirt. Preheat this once I have the collar and everything off. And then I'm going to line up my transfer. And again, you guys are going to see a lot of very, very fine detail with this artwork. And this is just a new, flip it other direction, a new streetwear brand that's relatively new on the market. So this gives you some ideas to be able to personalize apparel and items and things. So very fine detail here. Again, you're seeing more symbols and actions and things that are individual to this brand and to this customer. And that's really the big trend in streetwear. So CAD cut fashion film, you guys are already probably starting to see the versatility with CAD cut fashion film. And if you're looking to decorate for this market, or if you're breaking into streetwear, the cool thing is most of the designs are done with a very soft, lightweight feel, and you get that with fashion film. So you really only need to stock one roll of material and a couple of colors to help meet a lot of these markets. And it's really more about the artwork and the logo and the garment itself that you're applying it to. So I'll hot peel that as I'm talking here. I'll give you guys a few seconds to look at that. Now just to compare, if you're seeing that, and then again, this package, you're starting to see the workings of an entire brand or entire streetwear company being created from all of these images and these artwork. And that's just a whole other market and a whole other idea for selling these types of logos and these brands to your customers. Now to flip over from something other than fashion film, yes, we're going to show products other than fashion film. What you see here on the platen is actually a completely clear material. So one of the trends we're seeing in apparel in general, and of course it's transcended over into streetwear, is the use of tone-on-tone looks or minimal designs. And so what we're going to do is we're going to place a clear material over a dark garment. And this one's specifically gloss, but there's a matte version as well. And it's going to just create a very tonal look and kind of gloss up the areas where the artwork is on this design. Now this garment, I do want to switch back so you guys can see it up close and personal, because I really like this if you're printing streetwear or you're looking at printing these styles for women's apparel especially. But this is a really soft, lightweight kind of crop tee. So this is where we're seeing a lot of those casual, lightweight slub tees, very comfortable and kind of flowy with the movement that they have. And so it's a really neat garment here. I'm going to load onto the press. It is a bit heat sensitive, so while my heat press is up at 320 degrees, since I'm just doing one press for all my applications, this product, which is CAD Color Gloss, actually goes down to 280 degrees. So if I was going to be printing these for production, I would certainly have this down at 280 degrees. and use the gloss at that application to avoid any scorch marks. But the cool thing is it also goes up to 320, so it'll apply just fine for this application. So this again was cut on my vinyl cutter. So you'll notice I peeled a little bit of material off that kind of was still stuck. So if that happens, just make sure you double check it before you lock down the heat press. I'm going to make sure the collar is removed from this garment. And then I'm going to apply my design for the full application. So this is going to be 10 seconds. I'm going to change out on my Fusion. And when you're thinking about things that work into streetwear, again, I mentioned earlier sayings and quotes and just things that are popular and trending, especially on the internet, are a lot of the things that are popping up in streetwear, t-shirt designs, and logos. So I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera so you guys can see what this is already starting to take a look at. Yes, of course, butt selfies, because why not? This is definitely something that's trending. It's probably not going anywhere. I couldn't make a selfie stick image that looked good enough, so we got a cell phone there. Cad Color Gloss is a cold peel, so it's cooling down a little bit here. And then I can start to peel the carrier back. I'm getting a little impatient, so I'm going to go ahead and peel it anyways. And it's a little warm. But you can start to see how cool the gloss material on a darker fabric really just kind of really makes that image stand out and be really glossy and really glazy. And this is just something we're really seeing a lot that's new in all design, streetwear, spiritwear, school apparel. And so it changes depending on the color of the shirt that you apply to. So putting it on this charcoal, mostly solid shirt really makes that design stand out. Now if I was going to put it on black, it would look great. On a pastel color, probably not so much. So we'll take a look at it up here on the close angle of the camera, but you can already start to see how the gloss really picks up on this shirt. Really cute, really trendy, and something that's really popular for streetwear. Now keep in mind when you are creating sayings and things like that, I will caution you to make sure you're double checking and making sure things aren't trademarked. If you have a saying that you love and that you want to put on a lot of things, make sure you go through the steps to get it trademarked and just keep your brand to your company rather than allowing other people to steal your awesome artwork and design. So that's one thing to take a look at with the gloss material. And then keeping kind of with that same glaze idea and the same principles there, I'm going to be looking at another foil material that creates kind of a tonal look. And again, just another one of those lightweight, soft garments. And so the product I'm going to be using is actually Cad Color Foil Tech Shift. So coming soon, there will be a cuttable version of this that you can load on your vinyl cutter. And this also applies down at 280 degrees, so this keeps those same principles in mind where it will keep from scorching these flowy ladies garments that are usually very heat sensitive since they have some rayon or a lot of rayon in them to get that drape and flow. So I've loaded that on. Preheated to get some of the moisture and wrinkles out. I'm going to try this at 320 degrees. We'll cross our fingers so we can see this awesome finish that we have here. But there is a chance I may be a little too hot. Definitely for the shirt. Again, I'll switch over to my overhead view. There we go. And I'll lock this down for this 10 seconds. While we're taking a look at that, keep in mind, if this is your first time attending a live Stahls class, that we do allow for questions. So if we have questions coming in, feel free to chat those in. If you're thinking of a question on these garments or designs, you can use the questions box on the right-hand side of your screen as well. So this product is a cold peel, so I'm going to give it a few seconds to cool down before I peel it. This platen's a little bit hot. I've had it on all day. Still a little warm on that side, so I need to let it cool down completely. I'm going to take this off, lay it off to this side here over to my table so I can get a nice cold peel. And let's see if I got it cooled down enough. I may have already started to peel it up a little bit too much. If you peel it a little too early on a cold peel material, any of the cold peel materials, you can always lay it back on your press and press it for another 10 seconds, and that'll ensure any corners or areas of your design that have fallen off will be fixed. And so I'll press it just for a couple extra seconds. Did I have a question come in?
You do. One of the viewers wants to know if you could have used a transfer sheet to protect the garment.
You can use a cover sheet to protect the garment from something sticking to it. As far as it being heat sensitive, there's not really a cover sheet that's going to keep it from completely being heat sensitive on a apparel item that's going to be like this. So I would just recommend looking at a low temperature solution. So this, you guys are starting to see the cool metallic feel. The nice thing about Foil Tech, which was the printable version that we used for this, is it's actually a shifting material. So on black, you're seeing a really vibrant gold finish. But with white, it would just be an understated gold finish. This is just a really unique application that we're seeing. So gold makes it really pop, but it's super soft, super lightweight, which you don't always get with foils. And it's 100% durable, so we're not going to see any cracking or peeling or fading, which is super important for garments, especially lightweight ones like this that are going to be laundered a lot. So just another funny, unique quote or saying. One of the things we're seeing a lot in streetwear, but I'm starting to be confused with things they're pairing together. It's just pairing together 3 random things together. So this one I did yoga, coffee, and naps. So again, that speaks to the individual person and what they like. And so you can offer designs to people based on their 3 favorite things. And so if you like, coffee, naps, and yoga, then this is the shirt for you. But if you don't like naps so much, you can replace it with something else. So that kind of works as well. Again, a nice cool finish with that Foil Tech. Look soon for maybe a cuttable version that'll be able to get these finishes as well with just a vinyl cutter. But what I did was cut that material on my vinyl cutter and masked it to get this really cool finish. So I'll lay that off to the side. And I'm going to print one more design for women's apparel, and then I'm going to transcend to one that really speaks to the graphics and the logos that we're seeing a lot in streetwear and some things that we're seeing there with them being outlandish. And this is just an oversized print. So the circle text is coming back. Circle text was incredibly popular for school designs, spirit wear, and again, it just kind of is starting to take those same style elements and just make them more individual for streetwear. And so putting a saying with those same simple layouts that you've used in the past and adding some different design elements. I added an arrow in here with a dare to dream. So you can take any saying, any quote, anything that's really towards that personal person. And this is just another, again, style here that we're seeing. Lightweight, soft tri-blend. This actually has a really unique finish to it. It almost has kind of a garment dipped look, which is popular in streetwear. And this one was from Alternatives. And I'm going to preheat that to get some of the moisture and wrinkles out. I came back to my CAD cut fashion film for this design. Now, if you have a brand image like this that you like, a saying or a quote, like I said, if you want to sell multiples of these with t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and taking that same logo, I'm using CAD cut fashion film because I wanted to make it individual. But if you're going to go that route, I really recommend looking at screen printed transfers, getting all the logos printed, and then just printing them on the item you want to print them on, either as you sell them or as you add them to your catalog or your online store. So I'm going to press fashion film at 320 degrees for 15 seconds. Guess you guys didn't get to see me line that up. It was really straight too, so I'm going to switch back over to my overhead for when these 15 seconds are up. Hot peel it. So you guys have noticed I've used pretty much the same color of fashion film throughout this entire class. So imagine how far a 5-yard, a 10-yard, or a 20-yard roll goes whenever you're simplifying the logos and the artwork and just offering unique personalization and making it more about the artwork and the garment than the finish. And so it's a really unique concept with where, again, still soft and lightweight with this circle text being completely open on the inside. Alright, so far we've seen a lot of single color designs which are incredibly popular with streetwear, but we're also seeing a lot of bold and graphics. And so if you remember earlier in the beginning of the session, I had mentioned how streetwear really evolves from 1980s nostalgia and just different styles we see in skateboarding and in hip hop, and with a lot of that we see a lot of graphics. Of course, most of them are trademarked, but it got us thinking, how do we take logos like a popular PlayStation shirt that has all of the different clip art images for one brand, being PlayStation, or maybe Nintendo if we're looking really far back into the 1980s nostalgia. But if I'm looking at all those clip art images that are all over and making a really outlandish garment, and what we find is, how do we transcend that into brands or markets or things that aren't trademarked that we can sell? And so when you're looking at a brand, and for me, of course, I use Stahls as my example because, you know, Stahls has a lot of brands. So it worked perfect for this application, but we're going to look at how can we add multiple print areas and multiple logos to one garment. So the other side of streetwear from being soft, minimal, and casual is just that bold, outlandish logos, images, clip art all over the place. And so with that, we're going to load this long sleeve shirt on and personalize some sleeves, the front, just some different images, in just a unique way all over the garment. So I'm going to preheat this to get some of the moisture and wrinkles out, and I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera angle so you guys can see the graphics as I'm lining them up. And I'm going to grab a digital print. So for this, as you're starting to look at being able to print multicolor logos or graphics like this, especially even if they're trademarked, if you own the trademark to them or purchase it, you'll notice with these graphics how I've printed all these multiple colors and logos together. Now I could print them as separate images, but the trend kind of includes taking one brand or one company, so in this essence I chose Stahls, and looking at different components of it. And so if you're doing PlayStation, it may have the PlayStation logo and the controller logo and a bunch of different clip art images that mean PlayStation, and so we did the same principles with Stahls. But think about how that all works together with different brands and companies that you're printing for if you're looking to create kind of a streetwear look. And so I printed this in CAD Color Express prints, fast, easy, soft and lightweight for this fabric, and it allowed me to print all those logos together. After 15 seconds, I can hot peel the carrier. And I already know what you're thinking, as if it's not busy enough with all of these logos, we're going to add more clip art, more image, and just make it more busy, because that's kind of what makes a shirt individual to the user and the person who's wearing it. So I'm going to print the sleeves with more text and images. To do that, I'm actually going to switch out my bottom plat. And so if you have the Hydronics Fusion heat press like I have here, it has a very narrow base to it, so you'll see that as I take out the 16 by 20. And that allows me to drop in a plat, and it's a 6 by 20 size. Works perfect for pants or sleeves because it allows me to thread them on. Now if you don't have this heat press and you're printing for wear or you're printing sleeves, keep in mind that you can do this with a heat printing pillow to be able to get that flat surface. The benefit of that just is that all of the seams that are below the shirt aren't going to get into the way when you're printing. And so if you have the clam style press, it's a little bit more narrow than or a little bit wider than the Fusion heat press is. There we go, I'm getting caught on something there. Preheat these since they weren't on the heat press the first time. It also gives me a chance to double check my pressure. And we'll go ahead and put Stahls TV down one arm. Think of what side of the shirt I'm on when I loaded this as I was talking. We'll go this way. Now this gives me up to a complete 20 inches to personalize. So keep in mind you want your logo to be between 6 and 20 inches whether you're using the platen or the pillow, because if not, you're going to have to do this in multiple applications. And we want it to be pretty seamless and fast. I'm personalizing the sleeves with none other than CAD Cut Fashion Film. So 15 seconds there. And once that's complete, I can personalize the other side. And so I chose a simple single color image down the sleeve. I feel like with all of the graphics on the front, being able to just make it almost more simple, although adding still fun clip art images down the sleeves makes for a different finish. And then I'll go ahead and just flip this over and load on my other sleeve. Thought that seemed a little easy. There we go. Once I have that, I'll preheat that side. And it's always just recommended to preheat for laundering to ensure you're going to get just a good flat application so the wrinkles are gone and all the moisture from the garment as well. Make sure that's in the correct position. When you're putting down sleeve placements, I always use the shoulder as kind of my guideline to see where it's going down if I want it to fall on the top of the arm whenever the wearer puts it on. Okay. So another hot peel application. Go ahead and throw this carrier over here. Then you guys can kind of get a look and see how you can just start to personalize and add print areas. And this is a principle that can apply to all decorating techniques as you start to print for multiple garments and businesses and things. Think about how you can add more print locations and more ideas by using all of the areas of the garment. And Streetwear has done that really well with the sleeves and the fronts of the shirt as well. So I'm going to switch back to my main camera angle here. If you guys can see me. There we go. And we'll see our finished result. So you can see I've personalized the front with multiple full color logos, kind of mimicking that same one brand, multiple graphics, outlandish, fun, and bold print. And then I added some print areas down the sleeves just to kind of add more unique, fun ideas and more ways for that brand to really be individual and stand out in one garment piece. And so that gives you a lot of ideas for starting that. Now, one of the big things with streetwears is brands and branding. And so I think it's important to talk, and we'll go over to the table to talk about this, but I think it's important to touch on when you're a brand, what are some ways to either take a new brand to the next level, or if you're a current brand, just how to brand yourself through hang tags and t-shirt labels and things like that to really elevate your brand. So I'm going to head over to the table so we can talk a little bit about that. And as you guys have questions, feel free to chat them in as well. So I want to talk, like I said, a little bit about brands. I'm going to straighten up my area a little bit. I got a little bit of a mess as I was throwing garments. So this is almost like a behind the scenes of what happens over at the heat press. So branding. So there's a couple of ways to really add your brands or elevate your brands by using your apparel as the tool. And so the first one I want to talk about is t-shirt labels. And so obviously every shirt you put on has a label in the back. Some of them are on a tag, some of them are printed in. But you can purchase shirts that have no tags in them and then add your own tag in them. Now, of course, when you do this, there are some things you have to always include, like the fabric of the shirt, where it was made, the size, the wash instructions. All of those things have to be created, but it gives you an opportunity to put your company's name or your website on the back of every shirt that you're printing. And so when somebody says, oh, where did I purchase this? It's always there. And so especially if you're using a durable screen print, it's there for the majority of the wash. So one way to do this, I would recommend, really the easiest way to do this with your heat press is to purchase screen printed transfers. So that will allow you to get multiples and make it very cost effective for you to brand all of your apparel. So Transfer Express actually has a template that is built for t-shirt labels. So you can actually get t-shirt labels made for all of your garments just very simply from that template. And the template includes all of those things I just told you needed. So your company name, your clothing type, your fabric type, where it was manufactured, all of those details. And you can just quickly personalize them to your business, order hundreds, 200s, thousands of them, get a nice price break, and you can gang them even together on the sheet. So transfers from Transfer Express are actually 11¼ by 14 sheets. So if your t-shirt label is 2 inches by 2 inches, imagine how many you can fit across that sheet. And so that's something to keep in mind as well whenever you're ordering these types of things. It helps you to save some money if you order them in bulk. So t-shirt labels from a actual stamp position is really important. other places that you put your brand on the garment are also really important. So the shirt I'm wearing is actually an OGIO shirt from CMR. And so OGIO does a nice job of putting their logo and their brand on the left-hand side of the hip. And I really like that style. When they put it on the left or the right side, either the front or the back, you can put your logo on the back of the shirt, which if you've noticed throughout the class, I actually have a Stahls logo tagged at the back of my shirt. Just understated ways on the sleeve, different places that you can place your brand and your logo, and that does two things. One, it allows the person wearing the shirt to remember what where it came from, but it also, whenever somebody sees that shirt out and somebody's wearing it, they can know who to contact or who manufactured that so they can print, so they can order one as well. So it's basically a sales tool every time you put your logo, your brand somewhere on the garment. And if you want a way to make it understated, think of creating a logo rather than putting Courtney's Screen Printing Company on the sleeve or the back of the shirt. Of course, that's not going to be very appealing, but if you have a unique logo to your brand that you can start to work into all of your print marketing pieces and all of your sales pieces, and just being able to elevate your brand in that way, you can start to put it on the apparel as well in an understated way. I really like the gloss material I showed earlier because it does that understated branding for a simple logo, kind of like the OGIO one I'm wearing. And then the last thing that really I think makes a brand stand out is just hang tags. So kind of the tags that you're putting on your apparel when you're selling it, whether it's in a retail boutique or a store, or if you're just sending it out to customers. Even if you're sending it through the mail and you're shipping it to them, how you package your products and how you hang tag them is really important. So being able to put information with each item through a hang tag or through something like a business card in the packaging that has your website, your contact information, your details for the garment. So even your marketing information like your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff, it's basically just an extra area or an extra sales tool that really should be uniform with each job because it allows you to put your name and your brand on every item that you're printing. And depending on where your brand came from, you even have the option on the back of a lot of hang tags to kind of give a little snippet of who you are and who your company is and kind of just start to build you as a brand and as a company to purchase from rather than just somebody who makes shirts. And so it really helps to make you stand out a little bit as well. And so those are some unique ideas for creating brands, the t-shirt labels, the branding and labels and other places on the garments, and then hang tags. So I think those are all really important principles to kind of touch on and think about. Karen, have I gotten any other questions that have come in on streetwear? Okay, great. So I appreciate each one of you guys attending today's live Stahls TV class. You'll notice on the right-hand side of your screen, along with the questions, there's a handout, so feel free to download that if you're interested in any of the products you saw here. Also, we have more live classes this week and next, and we just published our new Stahls TV schedule for April through June. So if you haven't seen that, it's over at stahlstv.com/events, and you can see us all there. Thanks for attending.